thank you for coming also, and thank you to you guys, especially as Elena said, because she is a Barbie fan. Nonetheless, she let me come in here and drown them a little. I don't know, I don't know if any of you have seen this video I made that's on YouTube, and if you have, you'll probably hear me repeating myself about the paintings, but I'll try and say some new things too. So first let me tell you how I came to make these. What I do is I take these Barbie dolls and I actually take them into my pool in my backyard, and I go under the water with one of these little underwater cameras and shoot up at the Barbie and at the water on top of me. And then that water is what you see becomes this faulty mirror, this reflection of the Barbies. And there's a bunch of artists actually these days who are doing this, who are going in the pool and creating these versions of the world that have sort of representational areas and abstract areas. And this morning, when I was laying in bed going, oh my God, I'm talking later, I came up with this phrase that is like, well, I'll just tell you it and you'll decide for yourself. So, because it creates a sort of cubist kind of, and it's called poolism. So as a poolist, you see this combination of that which is abstract and that which is not. And that play of what's real and what's fake is part of what, metaphorically, I feel I'm going for in these paintings that I hope comes across. Because this question of what's real and what's fake, of course, well, that's the Barbie doll, right there. That's the essence. That she is, you know what, before I did that, I did want to point to some people in the audience that I wanted to thank. The model for this painting and some others, Bailey Hurstquist, is here. Bailey, would you raise your hand? And you can see, she did these photographs about 2 years ago when she was on the cusp of becoming the young woman that you now see before you. And that's that moment in time when every girl is looking at adulthood and going, what is that going to be like? What am I going to become? Am I going to grow any breasts? Are they going to be that huge? And for most of us, they're not. Most of us don't end up with that Steve Martin calls it 2 bowling balls on an ironing board. Most of us end up slightly different. And hopefully, these paintings will encourage a conversation that has to do with those issues of self-esteem. I'm not saying people shouldn't play with Barbie dolls. People love Barbie dolls. I can't believe they're around. When I was a kid, I didn't like them. But they're around. When I was a kid, they were around now. I've interviewed all these women, all these moms, feminists who didn't want their kids to play with them, people who didn't care. And she's still loved. She's still with us. Frankly, you're all from LA probably, except some who travel, thank you. And you can see, the problem for me is when you see them walking around on the street. What is that about? So this idea of women and how they are reflected by society and how we see ourselves reflected by how we deal with that inner voice about you should be this, you should look like this, is another part of what I'm hoping is these little girls are drowning here. That they're drowning those voices in their head that's saying, you've got to be this. That when you stand in this pool that I've created for you, that these little girls will be, that it's a sort of empowerment for them to drag them under the water and say no. But at the same time, little girls play with Barbies, and that fun and that joy hopefully also is presented here in the joy of paint and the joy of color and the joy of visiting this world that you just can't visit. You can go underneath the water and glimpse for a second, and here it's in suspension for you to live in and just enjoy a world that you otherwise wouldn't see. Oh, yes, sir?
I read a blog.
Yes, sir.
Controversial blogs that describe this as violent. And can you respond to that? I don't see any violence in here. It doesn't look violent to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this issue has come up a lot, actually, in the blog. So Ms. posted something, and since then there's been a lot of conversation on the feminist agenda and various other places that have accused me of perpetuating violence against women. Which, oh my God! I'm like such a feminist. Right. Great that this conversation, that any image that in any way might inspire a man to do harm to a woman is a bad image. Okay, I get that. And because the show is titled Drown the Dolls, I have to own up to that. That I did call it Drown the Dolls. And they are being submerged. But they don't look like they're being tortured. These girls look like they're making powerful choices, and I just think it's so pretty.
I want to point out.
Faces all distressed, and I think it says a lot of good things. And frankly, are men the only ones in society allowed to be violent? I mean, if you have to reject the patriarchal, what the patriarchy is forcing upon you by violently taking that thing that the patriarchy has given you and drowning it, I'd say so be it. Burn your bra, drown your Barbie. I don't see a difference. So I don't know. Is there a man here? I see some men here. Go to your deepest, darkest self. Raise your hand if you think that when you see this child doing this to these Barbies, it makes you want to go to one of those girls on the street, those young girls, and grab them and hurt them. I mean, I believe it. I know there's violence against women everywhere. I'm not trying to make light of this. I mean, you turn that TV set from channel to channel, and there's a woman being raped or killed on every single solitary channel. It's horrible. But I don't see that in this room, and I ask you people, thank you for coming, to look at the stuff, and my work, I should say, and you tell me, I mean, look at this girl, she's going, no! No! So, that's my feeling about it. But thank you for raising the question, because it's a question we should all think about. You know, as an artist, as you're working, every day you leave your easel with a feeling. Like, oh, I was a genius today. Oh, God, I'm the worst person on the planet. Or, that was so much fun. Or, oh, and when you look at this picture and you leave it, you go, like this one here, I went, geez. And this is about when I painted this. I said, geez, she looks a lot like Sarah Palin. And so, you have these things that come to you like, that you go, wow, that girl is terrifying. Wow, that girl is wonderful. And my feelings just shift as I'm painting. So it's more for me the joy of the paint than I mean, I think the moment comes when I'm talking about when I'm planning the picture, is when I think about the kinds of emotions and statements that I'm trying to make. But during the process of the painting, the afterwards, it becomes more that journey of not knowing where you're going, but knowing what the next step is, of just trying to make a painting that, because what will happen is in each painting I'll have something different that I'm actually focusing on and working on. So I knew in this one I really wanted the top to be abstract and the bottom to be real. But I knew that in this one I wanted to look like she was actually screaming out the reflection from her. And in each one I'll have something that I've hooked onto, a color, just a color. Like over there on that one I tried using this new paint color for me called Aurelian. And I just wanted to make that color sing. So in each case it's something else. Thank you. Oh, what? Hi.
Hi, are you done with the series, or will you continue to paint?
It is such a good question. I honestly don't know, because what happens is the gallery so wonderfully gave me the show, and I said, great, when? And this conversation, I think, was in August? And they said, how about January? And I was like, so it happened very quickly. So the fact is, if they had said the show is in June, I would have kept painting Barbies to June. So the show is sort of an artificial stop. But on the other hand, me standing in this room is like looking at the dirty water after my bath. So I don't honestly know what I'm going to do next. I don't know. I think I will continue to be a poolist, but it may not be, because I love that, but it may not be with Barbie. It may not be with Barbie. It may be, maybe with other things. Thank you.
I followed you right now, and I think that the quality of the water in these
Oh, thank you. I don't know if you can hear, she was talking about the quality of the water, and she was praising it. Thanks.
I've never seen
Which you should hear.
I think it's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is fun to be in that watery world painting it. And the differences between, again, that which is real and that which isn't real and how it breaks down. Anything else? Thank you so much for coming.